mode where when you plug in another desktop monitor, it actually like lets you navigate. I don't know the key to switch monitors, so.
It's just workspaces. It puts it on your workspaces, so if you
Oh, okay. I thought, yeah, but I was focused on this workspace and I couldn't change that workspace.
Yeah. It's just kind of a word process.
Alright, so I'm presenting about BitHopper. I'm Colin Rice.
I'm Ed Bork.
So most of the stuff I've been working on actually has nothing related to what I said I would work on. It turns out that the new versions of BitHopper have this little bug when you start doing about 3,000 or 4,000 concurrent connections related to our networking library. So does anyone here use Python requests? Okay, so it's this Python networking library that's designed to fix the mess that is Python HTTP networking from the client side. It's just a very nice way to do it, but it turns out very deep within their implementation inside URL-lib3, they have this little connection pool that's capped at 10 sockets. And 4 versions ago, it was capped at infinity sockets, so it scaled well. And so what was happening is we were causing blocking because we'd have 10,000 connections waiting on 10 sockets, and we just couldn't serve them fast enough. And so we were doing this other funky stuff. So once we fixed that, we were still trying to get into scale mode more because our actual server that hosts BitHopper is a little bit slow. It's rather hacky. I submitted a patch to fix some of the HTTP 1.1 bugs, and it never got merged because, well, it's just not really worth the effort to maintain. But that's what we run through in default mode because it's quick and easy and really fast. But there's an actual full-scale server called UWSGI, and you can plug it into Nginx. It basically just proxies any sort of language through to Nginx. And for Python, I actually had to rewrite my code a fair amount to get it to work because I use an asynchronous library, and it said it had a mode for that library. And I'm reading its documentation, it sounded like it would just magically work, and it turns out it actually doesn't. You have to do some interesting generator schematics with your objects that you pass into it, which was depressing, but I got that fixed. And I also got a basic linear machine learning model added, and it goes through, it stores data, it selects pools, it scrapes information off of the website we're trying to hop, and it hops the website. I haven't done an analysis to see how well it's actually performing. I was doing some quick and dirty stuff yesterday, and it got at least 2 out of the 3 blocks that came by in 2 hours, which is good. But I was restarting in the middle, so it took a little long to verify. So it seems to be working. But that's my progress, the key.
All right, so I'm working on the interface, which this is a web interface that talks to BitHopper. And I just jumped on this project a few weeks ago. I was exploring it, and the first thing I noticed is that a lot of the things are broken. Like, these shouldn't say undefined, and this shouldn't say NaN, shouldn't be multiple billions. So, so that's kind of where I am, is just trying to figure out how BitHopper works, and then my goal is by the end of the semester to fix, to either fix or hide all the problems. That way it looks clean, and it also is kind of a bit ugly to look at, so I intend to fix that too.
I think that's ugly.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, I didn't write it, but
Sure.
no, this guy called Flower wrote it. I've never met him in real life, but he submitted it. But someone else stole it before he submitted it, and the guy was very thankful because I asked permission before I threw it in my project. But yeah, I didn't write it. I wish I did. It's actually really cool because on the right side, it has this auto-scaling graph that shows you the share count of the servers over time. And it's actually a very good way to watch all these server share counts, assuming they're not 400,000 trillion. Because you can easily spot various behaviors, like they found blocks, they're lying to us, they're just flat out broken, they're very unlucky, that sort of thing. Which is why it's still around, because I removed it from the new version because it was broken, because I broke it. And people wanted it back, so I added it back enough that it works, sort of. But he's actually fixing it, it's wonderful. So thanks to O'Sullivan, Morthy, and Arcos. Any questions?
What are the green and the yellow dots in the previous key?
Oh, so in the old version of BitHopper, so you've got these pools you're mining, and so you used to be able to say, okay, look, this pool is a fair pool, this pool is an unfair pool that you can break using this strategy. This pool is another type of unfair pool. I want to mine on this pool even though it doesn't make any sense. I don't want to mine on this pool at all if I want to scrape information about it. So green was normal mining in fair or unfair mode. Yellow was you're just scraping information. I think black was disabled. But then I actually split off the networking library into its own separate project, and it works a lot better now, and we don't have very many issues with it. I know that looks like we have issues, but we actually don't. So it works a lot better, but in doing that, I streamlined the whole process of selecting pools. And so it makes a lot more intuitive sense to people, and the options make more sense. So these buttons actually don't exist anymore, but that was what they were for. I also used to have this concept of pools that you mined and backup pools, which confused the heck out of everyone because they thought all pools were mined, and that also was a mess. But those are control buttons. You can actually click raise things. Like this is a feature to let people track how much money they make via BitHopper. So this records the user shares that were submitted, and then you can go over here and say, look, I got paid 12 Bitcoins, and it'll say, look, you're working at efficiency of 110%, you're working at efficiency of 50%, which probably indicates you're not hopping the pool effectively or you're doing something dumb. We also used to let people choose their own scheduler algorithm basically for jumping between pools. And there's some option on this page. I don't know what you click. One of these rows, you can click it to change a scheduler. So a lot of these options are actually bad. Like in the version he's playing with now, I think he removed the right 2 columns, right?
Yeah.
Or the right 4 columns?
Right, these 4 columns are all
okay. Yeah, it was probably too much info. Any other questions? Okay. We're done.